All right, 6 o'clock. We're going to call a meeting of the Bedford Charter Township Planning Commission to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call whenever you're ready there. Shirley?
All right, trustees, Stacy Greenwood.
Here.
Commissioners, Claudia Brown.
Here.
Barbara Jones.
Here.
Shirley Tuggle, present. Tony Walters. Kevin Bellison.
Here.
Mike Staff.
Here.
We have 6 present, quorum established.
Let the absent report show that Tony did reach out to me earlier today, said she had an emergency and was unsure if she would be able to make it.
Okay.
All right, next item on the agenda is approval of the November 19th, 2024 agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support. Shirley and Kevin. Any discussion on the agenda? All right, seeing none, roll call, please.
Okay, Chairman Mike Stabb.
Yes.
Kevin Bellison.
Yes.
Shirley Tuggle, yes. Claudia Brown.
Yes.
Barbara Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Stacy Greenwood.
Yes.
6 affirmative, minutes are approved.
All right, next item on the agenda is approval of our October 22nd, 2024 meeting minutes.
Second.
Any discussion on those minutes?
Okay.
That's it.
No.
Roll call, please.
Okay, Kevin Bellison.
Yes.
Mike Stabb.
Yes.
Barbara Walters.
Okay.
Wow, where's my mind? Claudia Brown.
Well, you went back in time. Okay, yeah.
All right, Shirley Tuggle, maybe present. 6 affirmative, minutes are approved.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is our liaison report from Trustee Greenwood.
I have nothing new to report regarding board action. Unless, Mr. McCarty, you just wanted to do a highlight during your zoning report, regarding keeping the public informed on we are starting solar. But it's been discussed on a very elementary level, and Cody can elaborate if you have any questions.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, thank you. Next item is our zoning and building report from Cody. He did attach his report in the back of the packet there. Is there anything you'd like to add, Cody?
Not really. I'm having issues with our good printer, so everyone got black and white this month, so sorry about that. Computer just won't talk to it. And other than what's staring you in the face, I'm just doing a lot of back-end DSNA stuff now that everything's slowing down, trying to fix the letter writer. That's been driving us all crazy, and it's very annoying to have to go through as many hoops as we do to get someone a letter sent, so.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Public comment times. Public comment time is going to be on agenda items only. We'll open that at 6:04. All right, seeing no public comment, we'll close that at 6:04. All right, next item is going to be discussion of our new business. The meeting dates for 2025 should be enclosed in your packet there. Anybody have any questions on those?
So right now we're to every other month in 2025.
Yes, so these are going to be the 6, if we have agreement, these will be the 6
Okay,
regularly scheduled meetings that will go up on the website that, you know, give the public the advance notice of this is when, if they, you know, need to be on a planning commission, you know, agenda, you know, they have advance notice in doing that, so they know when the deadlines are, as far as getting on the agenda.
mhm,
I will say that, so we started with 6 there. I would think that you're probably gonna look at 2 special meetings
mhm.
for consumers.
Probably.
And depending on what, comes about on the marijuana, I would think probably at least one special meeting for that, or public hearing rather. Whether that can be worked into one of the regularly scheduled meetings or not remains to be seen, but I would think you're gonna have at least 2, specifically for consumers. And so that would give you a total of 8. And then one more, we had, what, I think 10 this year, and the one special meeting. Yep. So,
Mhm.
but those are really just the ones that, you know, I thought it was, a good idea for the commission to get those out there
Mhm.
well in advance so that
Very
people know what's going on.
Yep.
Is there any more discussion on those? Those will go onto the website when the board sets their meetings, for the year, next month, I would assume. All right, next item on the agenda is gonna be, update on the marijuana.
So I got the letter sent out on the 29th of October.
Of October, okay?
Have not heard things back. I'm gonna, circle around with all of them this week by phone. Most of them, they were going to the registered addresses from initial applications. A lot of those were their lawyers.
Okay,
So through the grapevine, I don't know where they're at in the process. I'm gonna try to figure more of that out.
Okay.
I'm expecting at least 2 of the outdoor ones from all of our talks previously to still apply for more. And then I don't expect the indoor ones. One is briefly discussed it. The other 2, seem more interested in greenhouses remaining classified as indoor grows.
okay.
So they seem more interested in having the green, both indoor and outdoor.
Okay, will the commission have something with that combined parcel that Paisley is doing?
Yes.
So they'll have that regardless, I would
Yeah.
assume at
Yep.
some point early
Yep,
on
I'm
in
Just waiting
24,
on the,
their site plan and stuff?
all the correct documents and everything like that.
Okay, all right. And I would think that you would probably want to pass that on to them, that also needs to be done before the new zoning ordinance goes into
Yes.
effect.
Could I ask Cody a question?
Of course, Bart.
Yeah. Cody, I was just wondering, whatever happened with that grow site, I think it was, on the corner? Was it Wabaskin or Hubbard Road?
Mhm.
Is it operating?
It is.
Really?
Yep.
You can
So
smell
there
it.
are other large outdoor farms,
You can smell it.
Wolverine.
You go over to North Avenue.
Was it Hubbard or
Yep,
Wabaskin?
Hubbard and
Hubbard?
Oregon, yep.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
You never see any
Yeah.
movement, ever.
Yeah.
No vehicle, nothing.
They've got the one driveway coming out Hubbard. It's just a long dirt driveway. Got
Oh.
the gate at the end.
Really?
And then they've got about 400 foot of thick forest on all sides.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't know they're there at all.
You
Right.
can't tell off
Right.
from Oregon for sure.
Trees really seem to help break up the smell, compared to
Really?
the other outdoor farms when the wind's shifting and stuff.
That's
Yep,
great.
so I haven't gotten any
I've never
smell
smelled
complaints.
anything
Yeah.
going by.
I'll get a whiff occasionally if I'm out in the neighborhood just west of there,
Mm-hmm,
or east of there,
mm-hmm.
for something, but not, I mean, it's more of like,
And what was the size again? I'd have to look it up.
That's a real big one.
that one,
It was really,
they're our largest license holder currently.
really?
Yeah.
I forget how many plants, they don't utilize all their licenses currently.
Okay,
They just got them because they have the space for it.
okay.
Okay.
And yeah.
They got 15 of them,
I
right, or
believe so,
something?
yeah,
15.
Okay.
So, Cody,
Two licenses.
when you reach out to them, I would think that the board is gonna do a first read on the new zoning ordinance in December, and then second read, you know, with adoption that first meeting in January.
Yep.
I would assume. I mean, I can't speak for them, but, So I would think that in your talks with them, they would need to have their stuff in for posting for that January meeting.
Yeah.
If they don't want to have a special meeting.
Okay.
As far as that goes. So whatever, 14 days from that Monday on the 20th, so that's probably like the 13th, I think, or something like that. Just in your conversations with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions on that, guy? That's kind of where we're at. We're just in a wait and see pattern. You know that we'll have at least one to do for the combination of the two parcels. Whether or not they expand is up in the air.
Okay. And which one is that?
That's Paisley?
Yeah.
Yeah, Paisley. Stacy, do you have anything you want to add on that? All right,
Yeah, that's inviting.
next item is gonna be distribution of our consumers energy special land use application packet. So that's how many pages is this that we have here?
That you guys have, I'm not sure off the top of my head, total packet is 2,147.
Good work, Cody.
Thank you, Cody.
You're welcome. I did not print these.
I was gonna say, he
Allegra-
cheated.
Allegra on Columbia printed those. Like I said, I have issues communicating with a good printer, so no way I was doing these in black.
Thank you for being resourceful.
Absolutely.
It was
So,
not my full idea to go get a print.
so this is everything except for the environmental study, guys. We are still working on a way to get that posted to the website because it is a huge, large file. In your packet that I sent you to the email, you have a link that you can click on that is the full packet, and that will have the environmental study in there if you want to take a look at that and, formulate your questions, but it's 1,600 pages almost, so.
That's the Google link.
I clicked
I
on it and
couldn't
said,
get in
yeah,
there.
right.
Okay, all right, well, so we need more work to do there then.
Well, and I have Windows 7, so I blame everything on that. So
Okay.
that's the part of the issue, but
I'll make up another flash drive, and then we can just start passing that along. People can load it to
Okay.
their own computers, because I can fit it on the other flash
Can you?
drives. Yeah.
Okay, all right, so we will work on getting that to everybody so that they have a copy, as far as that goes. And hopefully it'll work with your computer that you have. We were not planning on necessarily printing off that for everybody. Cody does have a master of the environmental study. If you wanted to come and peruse it, at your leisure and look at the hard documents, not on your laptop or computer.
yeah, paper's easier for me.
Is it? Okay.
Me too.
So yeah, so this is gonna be quite the process. Seth, I would just like you to kind of go over what your expectation of this process is. And then I just have a couple questions on, stuff that we may need, an outside party to look at, from an engineering standpoint or what your thoughts are on that.
Right, so DCD, they submitted this application, 2,000 pages, that's pretty typical. Okay, so that doesn't surprise me. It's gonna take several months to work through this. I think you mentioned 2 special meetings, before maybe there's a public hearing.
Yeah, I mean, I would think at least one special meeting where we can have time to review, and then maybe have the applicant come in.
Yeah.
If you advise that,
Oh, yeah, it's,
to answer any of our questions, maybe if we need to request any other documents. I can't imagine we'd need to, it's 2,000 pages, but you never know.
well, you'd be surprised.
Sure.
Something that I think we should do is have like a pre-PC meeting with them without a quorum of the board.
Okay,
Usually it'd be the PC chair, zoning administrator, and the township board liaison.
Okay.
And that's when we've all had the opportunity to review like the application and get a better feel for it. And we meet with them, hear what they have to say, and then kind of figure out what their process is, like what they're thinking for meetings, for the planning commission meetings. Generally they do want to present their application, introduce it to the planning commission. I just finished up one with DCE, And like they had subject matter experts come in and thoroughly explain everything. I don't know if consumers plans to do that or not. That's something we could talk to them about. Some of what I thought DTE did was very helpful, and in some regards, I thought maybe some of the stuff they really didn't talk about. But you know, in hindsight, looking at that process, you know, if I knew what they were going to talk about, I think maybe we could have.
Narrow the
Yeah,
scope a
I
little
think
bit.
narrowed it.
Okay.
I think the presentation was like 2.5 hours. It didn't really need to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time. I sent out a draft copy of just what, you know, proposed resolution looked like in that township. And I think as you said, it's nothing that we typically see.
Correct, yes. So, I mean, there is a lot of literature for us to go through, and then a lot of questions that we'll have, and then a lot of, you know, talk and discussion about what, you know, might be a reasonable condition that we attach to the application.
Yeah, and I think with DTEs, and honestly with any solar project we did, I mean, you're gonna see anywhere from maybe 18 to 30 conditions. I mean, there's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, you know, we go over that beforehand. Usually talk to the applicant, you know, beforehand too, because we know that preemption is out there. So,
Sure.
you know, that's over in Calhoun. There's a public hearing tonight for a solar project, and a big part of today was working on those conditions with, you know, with the applicant, and the zoning administrator and somebody else. So there was, you know, so with the meeting tonight, there were no surprises at least, and everything could be presented to the planning commission, you know, fairly clearly. So I think, I'm not sure the timing of the initial meeting with DTE, but I don't know how far everybody is, you know, I know everyone just got their binders tonight, so, you know, it's gonna be a process, and I think, do we have a December meeting?
We do not have a December
Okay.
meeting. So my general thoughts, I mean, I would think that we would want to give the commission members at least 30 days to peruse it, you know, get their questions, you know, kind of down. And then I don't know if we need to have those formally, you know, at a meeting done, or if they can just be submitted, and then we can have our, you know, have a meeting with the applicant,
Yeah,
you know, kind of flush out some of those concerns, I guess.
yeah, maybe with like in January.
I would think.
Thinking something like that,
Yeah.
and that works just to get timelines down, you know, so everyone knows, you know, what to expect, especially with, you know, preemption going into, you know, effect in 10 days. My thought on it is, you know, consumers, they are gonna work with us. If they weren't, they wouldn't have, you know,
Done this in the
applied.
first place. Yep.
You know, something I tell other townships, I do think that if applications are filed, with the state, I do think the state utilities are probably gonna be bumped to the front of the line. Consumers, DT, like those, cause they're huge, right? They're
Right.
really big. So I think they're gonna get pushed to the front of the line as opposed to like out-of-state developers. Okay, next step is, I do think we need to, I would definitely recommend hiring a professional planning consultant to help along with this. I'm not sure, who has the authority to do that, whether it's the planning commission or the board, but that's something we need to figure out.
Okay.
Any cost associated
That's
with
the
this?
board.
It's the board? Okay, so that's, so Stacy, I think whenever, you know, your board meeting is, we could figure out a resolution to put together to, you know, figure that out.
Okay.
Any cost associated with this application is not absorbed by the township. Okay, it's the applicant has to pay for it. I think, I don't remember what your escrow is. Is it 12,000?
12,000.
Okay, so they're probably gonna have to replenish that. In my experience, these can cost between, 20,000, I would say. And the one we did in Saginaw is probably triple that for reasons I don't think we're gonna have to
See
deal
here.
with here.
Okay.
So planning consultants, you know, you worked with McKenna in the past. They did, your zoning ordinance and master plan. So if the commission was happy with them, you know, you could go back to them. I'm sure they have, the engineers and environmentalists on staff. The other one that I worked with is Williams and Works. They're out of Grand Rapids. They do a really good job too. And, you know, they would come here, they would do a whole, analysis of your ordinance, of their application. They meet with us, let us know, you know, is this complete? Are we missing some things? They're really helpful. It just ushers the process through, and they're there to help, you know, they're there to help you, the commission, Cody, you know, everybody. But I thought it's always helpful having them. Typically applicants are happy when they hear we're getting a professional planning consultant because they know that they're very helpful to the planning commission.
So the outline for that process, it would be, you would be submitting RFPs.
Yep.
And then if you want that on the December agenda, submit a recommendation and you and Seth and I can work on the resolution for that for board approval if we need to do that.
Okay. Well, we need to get the RFP out before we get the board approval
Well-
per se, or?
I think the board would be approving the RFP.
Right.
Right, Stacy, or how, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you would have
You'd
the
be author-
RFP
Yep.
ready and then bring it to the board.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yep. And then the board will approve.
So those
And then
are-
you have to bring in the estimated amount.
Right, so I think, you know, and you could figure out who you want to send this out to, but if it was like, for example, McKenna and Williams and Works, get, you know, bids from them or have that be authorized by the board at the December meeting, and that way give them 30 days to get you know, their quote into you.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is a holiday, so maybe a little bit more, but that way it gets fed up, that way, because, you know, we're gonna start meeting with DP in January or have, you know, planning commission meetings in February or whatever. I just want them to be able to plan so everything's sort of timed out. because,
Sure.
You know, everyone's
Well,
back.
I mean, we want everybody to be.
Yeah.
On the same page.
Yeah, so that, I mean,
Okay.
that's, I mean, that's generally, you know, it as far as the process goes. I
Okay.
know there's a challenge right now in the state, but there's no timeout on the impact of that preemption. Okay, so it's still in effect until the court says, you know, it's not.
Do you know if Consumers is working with the ordinance north of us in Barry? Or,
For, in Johnstown Township,
yeah,
you know, Katie Kaufman at my firm is their township attorney, so I haven't heard anything that they're not, but I'll follow up with her, to see, you know, where they are. I know, I'm not expecting Johnstown to have the same ordinance standards as Bedford.
They don't.
Yeah, so, but that doesn't matter.
I mean, it's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to, Consumers is gonna have to, you know, work within Johnstown's ordinance for the part of the project that's on their, you know, their side of the project, and they're gonna have to work with Bedford's ordinance on our side of the project, so.
Right, so they can't necessarily, you know, say, well, you know, we're doing this project here with these standards, we'd like you to, I mean, they have to be beholden to what we have on the books right now.
Right,
Okay,
right, and I unfortunately don't know anything about Johnstown's ordinance, or what I don't even know where they are in that process with Johnstown.
so I believe that went to the planning commission in Berry County, because they don't have one in Johnstown. And I believe that made it out of there, and they have one that's in effect.
I've
The
heard-
draft that I saw was very loose.
So
catered to
Johnstown,
this project.
they don't.
Yes, yes, there we go. Right, way to put it, go ahead.
So Johnstown doesn't have a zoning ordinance? County doesn't have it?
Yes.
they're not, are they not incorporated for zoning then?
They
They
just
just do.
do-
Very,
they just do-
very
Yeah.
handles all their
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll follow up with Kate and see what information, she has, if it's under county zoning, she probably wasn't involved much in that process other than just doing the general review for the township, because that's gonna be the county planning commission. And whoever the county attorney is, assuming they.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. And so just to clarify, it sounds like, you know, using the planner and then using their, you know, their team that they may hopefully have on staff. You know, my next question was gonna be, do we need to think about, an engineer, hired out to us, or, I mean, it would probably just be easier if we can utilize the planners,
Yeah, they'll have those.
either
people
who's on staff or their network of people that they work with.
Yeah,
Okay.
or if they don't have one, they'll sub it out, but I'm pretty sure McKenna and Williamson Works has their own engineers on staff and environmental people
Okay.
on staff, and if not, we'll figure it out, and we'll either ask them for some referrals, or I know some as well, so we'll get that worked out.
And your general sense is that consumers will want to present their application to the public in some form and fashion, correct?
Yeah, probably, I mean, I haven't spoken to them since,
Right.
you know, yeah, but I would think that would be beneficial for them.
Okay.
Seth, do you know if that either of them have, sort of synopsis or something of that particular part of their business that they can give to us to read something about what they do in this case? It, you know,
Yeah, I mean, it might be contained in that packet. I'm not sure. I didn't start reading it
Okay.
yet. But sometimes they do a synopsis of, what their plans are and what goes into it. But if not, that could be a conversation that we have with them.
okay, I'm talking about McKenna and Williams' work.
Oh, yeah, wait, okay, so almost like a resume, so.
Yes. sort of
Yeah,
like
they'll have all that information.
They will.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Stacy, when you did the RFP for McKenna for the zoning, they submitted like a whole,
Oh,
a
yeah,
whole,
we just outlined.
I mean, it was much more than the resume that they sent over. So,
They'll send you the scope of the project, who's working on the project, their credentials,
all the good
everything,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay. So that'll all be included, Barb, in the RFP when it comes back.
Explain to us exactly what are those letters for, RFP?
Request for proposals.
Okay.
So you're-
Request for
so we're
proposal.
we're gonna seek out a bid
Okay,
for, said work on this project. So you
Okay.
provide a scope and then they provide you with an estimate.
sure.
And then the board ultimately will decide whether or not they authorize.
We just wonder what the letters.
Okay, yeah,
Trying to put the
sure.
letters forward.
Yeah, because you guys use letters a lot, but we don't all know what those letters
Sure.
Need the
mean.
acronym, yeah.
I understand.
Commissioner? I think you guys could do an RFP without presenting to the board. You know you need,
Yeah, do.
an RFP, you don't have to approve an RFP from the board level. I think if it was a larger scope, you might need to.
Actually, if
think-
it's within the escrow,
Yeah,
we probably don't.
I think
Seth,
Cody could
what do
do the
you
work
think?
to develop it, and that could be done during December while you guys are off. And then January you could review and get board approval. Okay?
Right, but so you're saying that we don't necessarily need to put it forth to the board for the approval, but we still need to put out a request for proposal.
Yes,
Either way.
Correct.
I think you could skip a step there,
Okay,
and stop the delay. Avoid potential delay for us, okay?
okay.
And then Cody put together the RFPs with you and Stacy. Think that would work? You agree? You board position?
Yeah, because, I believe in the resolution, the escrow just included everything, and it was just a.
Encompassing this project.
It was-
Actually, it might have
it was
actually
very
listed planner in there.
Engineer.
Yeah.
Right, and it actually, I think it's in the
So-
ordinance itself.
So you could
So-
skip a step based on that
Okay.
resolution,
Yeah.
yeah.
Alright.
I think that's
That way,
accurate.
if you wanted to iron
Yeah.
out some key things tonight, you could do that, and then Cody could be working on that, with Stacy and yourself, and
Okay. Wonderful.
make something.
Yeah, no problem. All right, well, we get to skip that stuff, guys.
Okay.
Even better.
Even better, right?
There's definitely
Absolutely.
need to help us, Stacy, because I have not done an RFP myself, so.
No, they're
We
good.
have a template.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're a good time. Okay, all right, so we will begin work on that essentially immediately so that we can get it out to those folks. And we will maybe just do a little perusing to see if there's maybe one or two other places that we want to send it. And I was very pleased with what McKenna brought us on the zoning ordinance. I know that Raphael really took the lead on that solar. He's not there anymore, so, I mean, but I mean, we have the ordinance already in effect, so it's really more of a planning aspect, so, that may not be as relevant. As far as that goes moving forward. Is there any other questions?
Not yet.
Right. Sure.
There's gonna be.
It's winding up up here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I think the best thing to do here, everybody has, this is online too, as well. We got it up today. So the public is gonna have every opportunity to view it. We're gonna work on, somehow we'll get the environmental study on there. I don't know if we're gonna have to break it up or do whatever we gotta do, but we'll figure that out, but that's been very chaotic around here. So, one thing at a time. The application was the most important. part, right now, today, anyway. So I would think that we would take, 30 to 45 days and kind of, get your questions together, and then I would prefer not to wait until we have your January meeting to do our pre-PC meeting. Seth, I think you're in agreement with that, sometime like mid-January?
Sure. Just as long as it's before, like a week or so, maybe even two before your meeting, yeah.
Okay, all right, so, so today is the 19th, can we maybe shoot for any comments that, you guys have be submitted to the chair by like January 1st? Is that rushing anybody? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
If you, may I interrupt?
Please.
If you put it in the scope of the ordinance, really, you're gonna be going through the general standards and then the solar ordinance. So we're gonna do the finding of facts, and you're gonna keep it within that scope while you're reading this document.
So that is a great point there. You remember the last meeting, I gave you guys the copy of the finalized ordinance, and I said, this is what we're going to work off of. And trustee Greenwood is exactly correct. Like, we can't just make things up. So what the what the standard is, so you'll be looking at, setbacks and so on and so forth. Now, it's not to say that, and Tony, you weren't here when we were talking about the amount of conditions that may be attached to this application. There's no question it's a dumb one here. But we do need to try and, we don't want to take 90 days to go through it, but if there's something that sticks out to you that you do have that question on, it's possible it could be a reasonable condition can be attached. But trustee Greenwood is correct. If you just use the ordinance as your guide, that will certainly help, I think. So I'll pose the question again. Can we shoot for January 1st or sometime around there? That's 45 days.
I will say, once you start getting into it, a lot of it's more pertaining to the Johnstown side.
Oh, okay.
Like, especially with the maps and a lot of the pictures and stuff, it'll be like the first third is the Bedford side, and then it goes into Johnstown. So
Okay.
it's not actually as
So
heavy.
it doesn't
as
actually
looks.
apply. Okay.
Is everybody okay with that kind of?
Like January 1st, is that?
Yeah, that would be the goal.
Okay.
And then that way we can get all those things kind of put together, and then, our goal would be for, liaison, Cody, myself, attorney, applicant for the pre-PC meeting to try and flush out some of those things. And then, when we set a special meeting, Seth, we don't have to do a posting like we do for a public hearing.
Yeah, so special meetings are a little different.
Okay.
We gotta do 18 hours notice.
18 hours notice?
Township hall, on the township website.
Okay, all right.
And then you post the agenda, but that's, I can help with that.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to know what the parameters were so that we exceed them greatly. We won't wait 18 hours before, guys. But I was just thinking, I think, Seth, we talked about this. We want to handle this in a special meeting format so that is the only thing on the agenda, the only business we have. And then we can, they pick up the tab, which is, slow on the priority list, but
But still.
it's only fair.
Right.
So,
It's the Johnstown project.
it's what, isn't it like,
Really? Triple
I can
the
tell-
size of
like
ours.
12 or 1,300 acres, isn't it?
14,
14.
How many megawatts?
1,476 acres in Johnstown, 449 in Bedford.
You know, like-
How much in Bedford?
140 megawatt total.
So this project costs like tens of millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe more.
Right.
So you're not gonna push back on, escrow fees or covering, it wouldn't shock me if it's over on it. So.
Okay. Good to know, I guess.
What's those numbers again, quoted for the acres?
They're listed.
Yeah, it's like page one
Oh, okay.
of the summary, the one that starts here with Stephen, but 140 megawatt AC solar generation project spanning 1,476 acres in Johnstown and 449 within Bedford.
Okay.
And I guess that was kind of my point, like, this is a huge project. They're willing to work with us, but they're not gonna wait forever. So we do need to, you know, be moving along. So yeah, is everybody okay with that game plan in mind?
Yes.
Yes. Are there any questions at this point? If there's anything that you guys need, obviously contact myself, Cody. I mean, but you've got, I mean, this literally is every page.
Right.
Other than the environmental, and we'll figure something out on that. Anything else? Cody, do you have anything that you want to add?
Let me know if anyone wants to come and see the big maps. We do have large site plans and things like that. We can set them up here and everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you have the access to the digital ones, those are just as good. You can blow it up on your screen.
And we will probably find a way, I'm sure that consumers will probably insist on doing it, but you know, to have those displayed when we get to public hearing. So that if there's folks that attend, they
Worst come to worst, I
they
can
can
put
see
them
it.
on. And if-
Or maybe even, yeah, utilize that for the first time or whatever,
Okay.
just so it's available. Okay? All right. Okay, last item on the agenda is gonna be public comment time. This can be about anything you want,
Anything.
anything.
Would you like to speak? No? Okay.
We open that at 6:37. And we're gonna close that at
The last chance for
6:37.
public comment. You know.
You missed it.
You missed it, yeah, I closed it. I'll reopen it if you want. Okay. Next item is gonna be planning commission member time. Claudia?
Are we voting on our meetings or we're just,
No,
okay, so they're all set then,
yep, those 6 will be.
those 6, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Barb?
First of all, congratulations on your board position. And, yeah, you too, of course, Stacy. And I just wanted to tell everybody to eat a lot on Thursday. And Merry Christmas, since I won't see you before Christmas. That's all.
Shirley?
Ditto.
You know?
Kevin?
This is gonna be some real intriguing reading. I know. We'll get through it.
Tony?
No. Everything that they said.
Trustee Greenwood?
I have nothing further.
I just want to, real quick, thank everybody for the opportunity to lead the group the last 2 years. It's been very exciting, and couldn't have done it without everybody's contribution. So I look forward to seeing what comes of this application, and you know, everybody just enjoy the holidays. But remember, we do have a little work to do between now and then. So maybe 10 minutes a night. Cody, what would you recommend? 10 minutes a day? 20 minutes a day?
By January 1st,
Yeah.
we're gonna need to up those numbers a
Okay,
little bit,
all right.
maybe.
Yeah, especially Christmas and
There you
everything
go.
coming.
Cody, could you
All
give
right.
us a nutshell version of this?
And I'll move to adjourn the meeting at 6:39.